Gaming is a huge industry, and generally on our phones we game using the touchscreen. But sometimes that as an input just doesn't cut it, and you want something a little more serious, a proper gaming controller. If that's the case, what should you choose? Well, I've spent the last 9 months testing out over 20 different controllers just to put together this video. So let's get to it, shall we? Oh yeah, Ash here from C4E Tech. Let's get started. Now, like most things in life, there is no one size fits all. Some controllers are just better than others for certain scenarios. So first, let's start with the least competitive category, iPhone controllers. There are only two good ones really. A quick word before we jump into that. Apple requires a MFI chip to make peripherals work with their iPhones, to make use of that lightning port, and this adds to the costs. But if you want to go wired, then my pick is gonna be the Razer Kishi. It doesn't look great. Personally, I feel, with the phone, it looks a little too big, or at least that is what I thought at first. But the more I used the Kishi, the more I grew to love it. It's a pretty decent controller, and by the way, it has 100% compatibility with iPhones, so it doesn't matter if you have a Pro Max or a Mini, it's still gonna work, no issues at all. Now, the alternative to this would be the Backbone. I found it a little more expensive than the Kishi and not available in most markets. So going by reviews, I felt paying over 2x the cost of the Kishi to actually import and check it out just wasn't worth it. Now, if you don't like this telescopic form factor, now this is what you call a telescopic controller, right? So it kind of extends. If you don't like this form factor, then you're gonna have to go with a clip-on. And for iOS, the best choice is gonna be this one from Rotor Riot. So this is a it's a full-fledged controller. Your phone clips on right to the top here, but it gives you a proper gaming controller kind of feel, better so than what the Kishi had to offer in terms of ergonomics. Then there is also the Gamesir X2 Lightning Edition, and I don't really recommend that. Why? In a second, let's get to that. The Gamesir X2 is also available for Android and is usually priced about half of what Razer asks for their Kishi. Now, the reason why I wouldn't recommend this for iOS is because it just doesn't feel quite as comfortable, and it has digital L2 R2 buttons. So, the Kishi comes with analog buttons, and similarly, the Rotor Riot also has analog triggers here. So, the Gamesir X2 for iOS, not really. I wouldn't be recommending it. But why do I still recommend the Android version? Now, that's because the Android version is cheaper, higher compatibility, and more importantly, if you want to use that Switch emulator, it is your only choice. Again, S is pretty shady, but if you need to have your Switch emulation fix on Android, this is the only emulator available, and it only works with the Gamesir X2, not even the X2 Bluetooth. And yeah, that is an X2 Bluetooth. This one it's one of the more reasonably priced telescopic Bluetooth controllers available. And by the way, all the controllers that I've mentioned till this point, they have clickable sticks. So L3, R3 or left stick, right stick, whatever you want to call it, that functionality is present. The next one, it does not have it. This is the Flydigi V. The lack of L3, R3 is the reason why I don't actually recommend this. My recommendation here is the Ipega 9087. Where is that one? Oops.
One eternity later.
The V here is built better. It's got a better feel with the keys. The Ipega does come across as a little too sticky and mushy for me. But if you're looking to emulate the Nintendo DS or 3DS, then you're gonna need one of these two controllers. And I think getting one without clickable sticks is just too much of a handicap if you decide you want to stream games or use a system that requires L3, R3 in the future. So why do I say you gotta go with one of these two? For DS and 3DS, that's because the controllers here, these two are narrow enough that you can fit most phones in here in portrait mode. That helps you with the two-screen orientation. Now, yes, you can technically have the screen in landscape and end up gaming this way, but for me, if it's the DS or the 3DS and I'm not gaming on the real thing, I'd at least want the phone mounted in portrait. Now, if you are looking for a telescopic controller for your tablet, then again, there's another Ipega alternative. This is the 9167. It's a great choice. The buttons here are decent, nothing to write home about, and the triggers are not analog. It offers a kind of modular experience. You can remove the right part of this controller. This is something that's supposed to help you for mobile and stuff. I don't play anything that makes use of this, so this is just me passing on information. The last telescopic controller on our list is one I actually ended up testing by accident. I bought the Samsung Glap on Amazon and immediately hated it. I mean, this was way too expensive, and it is also the bulkiest controller on this list. Just look at the sheer size of the carry case that Samsung provides. So I saw it, I hated it, I put in a return request, a lot of confusion later. I ended up stuck with the controller. So I thought, hey, it's expensive, I bought it, why not actually test it out a little bit before discarding it? And then the more I used it, the more I grew to love it. Now this is probably the best console controller-esque experience you're gonna get with any telescopic controller. It feels the most comfortable in hand, like you're holding a real Xbox or PlayStation controller, and it's a pleasure when it comes to racing games because of the analog triggers. Guys, if you can stomach the asking price and tolerate the size disadvantage, the Glap is one of the best telescopic controllers available. I pair it with my Razer Phone 2 usually, which is the most powerful Android phone with a 16:9 display. I use it for a lot of Moonlight and Streamlink. It works great. Do note that I've intentionally left out Gamesir's clip-on controller, both the G5 and the G4S. Now this is because the controller itself is pretty good, but the clip-on over here where your phone actually goes in, it is a little too slippery for my liking. It doesn't give a good fit. So even with the slightest of movement, I feel like the phone's gonna jump out at any moment. So it's been the same with the clip-on controllers that Gamesir brings to the table, which is why I've chosen to omit them. Now let's move on from telescopic controllers to other phone clips. If you already have a home console lying around, then I'd suggest you just get a clip for the controller of your choice. You find phone clips for every controller possible: Xbox One Series X, PS4, PS5. Both Android and iOS accept pairing with these controllers by default. So if you already own any of these, the clip-on is a very easy, inexpensive solution. Do know that the Moga phone clip is a little more expensive than your average clip. It is not readily available everywhere, but it seems to give you more choices with regards to where to put your phone. It also seems a little more secure, especially if you're using heavier phones. I also want to take this chance to talk about 8BitDo. If you are looking into premium third-party controllers, then 8BitDo has quite a collection, especially if you want to recreate the retro feel, and sometimes they even improve upon these. This one here is the SN30 Pro Plus. It's had a revision and it's now the Pro 2. It's basically a SNES controller, but with handles of a DualShock, with all the extra keys that you need, including analog triggers to kind of bring it to the 21st century. Most 8BitDo controllers pair with the Nintendo Switch. All of them work with Windows and Android. There are some that even work with Xbox. Now, for a lot of these controllers, 8BitDo sells these clips. So depending on ergonomics and what you like, you could go with pretty much any 8BitDo controller and have one controller that works with the Switch, Xbox, PC, phone, everything. Right? So all the controllers we've seen so far should work out. That should cover 90% of a demographic. Let's now take a look at what the other 10% want. Here are some super niche solutions. If you have a lot of money to burn, then you can consider getting a custom case made for your phone. So there are some modders who sell these, but they can get pretty expensive. Now this is not a handheld console. This is actually a Redmi K20 Pro. It's running on a custom ROM Moki, and I've had the aspect ratio switched to 16:9 and the phone is placed in. The case here is called the Retroidboy. It's a pretty swell way to get your Android gaming and emulation, even streaming fix. Talking about streaming, if you want to focus on that via say Steam Link, having mouse input's gonna come handy, and here's where the touchpad on the Steam controller helps. Now do note that the Steam controller cannot do X input, which is what you need for use with your Android phone for say native gaming or emulation. So consider this only if you want to use Steam Link mainly and you happen to have a Steam controller lying around. These ones did sell pretty cheap towards the end. Now the last one and my favorite solution here is the ROG Kunai 3 Gamepad. Now this is a custom solution for the ROG Phone 5. You get a Switch kind of experience where you can just slide these controllers out, meaning you never need to charge them. Whenever you connect them to the ROG Phone 5, they charge off the phone's battery. You could kind of slide it in here and use it as a regular standalone controller. If you want extra grip, then you can get these handles in as well, so it feels a lot more ergonomic. This is an excellent solution that isn't really talked about much, but again, it's very niche because you need to have a ROG Phone 5 to actually get this running. Another bonus here is the fact that an aero-active cooler can still be added when you're using this controller. This is pretty unique because you can't clip on a cooler to a phone regardless of if you're using a telescopic controller or if you're clipping it on to a regular standard controller, because there is something to the back of the phone, so it's just not gonna work. The only way you make it happen is on the ROG phone with the aero-active cooler. And generally gaming is where things get really intense. That is where you need all the extra performance, all the cooling that the phone possibly can get. So I have a dedicated video on this to show you guys how well cooling actually works. Not just the ROG, in general, how does cooling work with phones and which one brand's flagship phone really sucks at cooling, throttles a lot and all that. That video will drop sometime in the future. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. So these are some of the best controllers that I've come across in recent times. I bought every single one of these controllers and I spent months testing them out so that you don't have to. If you want to show your appreciation for all that hard work, go ahead, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that bell icon, you know what to do. And I guess that brings us to the end of this video. Beat it up, I'll have links to all these controllers in the description below. Check them out if you need them. And that's pretty much it for now. Until next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.